All right, guys, welcome into the AfterSchrock. This is your opportunity to ask any questions that maybe didn't get covered in the show, or things you want to hear about, or maybe had questions about that weren't topical in the program. Feel free to post your questions, and I'll answer them as they come in. And of course, if we get to the point where we don't have any more questions, then we'll wrap it up. But yeah, we basically covered just about everything from the show. We talked about the iOS 12 speed improvements. That's really good news. All those older iPhones out there are going to get a little bit of a shot in the arm, which will be nice. We didn't cover the Ticketmaster breach very much. So basically, if you were on Ticketmaster and buying tickets for an event, and you remove or you use the chat feature on there to complete your purchase, those things that pop up like, "Do you need help? I'm here to help you." That was done by a company named Inventa. They do it for several other companies as well, but they had a custom piece of JavaScript coded that was interacting specifically with Ticketmaster that caused the Ticketmaster, basically it leaked payment information out of Ticketmaster. The JavaScript we created was specifically for Ticketmaster and was used on a payments page, which is not what we built it for. Had we known the script would have been used in that way, we would have advised against it, as it possesses a security threat. So, okay. So basically, they didn't test it to be secure. They just tested it to be functional. And they didn't know that Ticketmaster might put it on their payment page so people having trouble making a payment could ask for help. Okay. So it sounds like a huge misunderstanding. But basically, if you bought tickets on Ticketmaster and you use Ticketmaster's help feature, their chat feature, your payment information may have been leaked out. You might want to keep an eye out for that. All right, why would my data disappear when I boot the computer? It all came back when I shut off and rebooted. Keith, that can happen sometimes when you have a corrupt user profile. So basically what Windows will do is it'll create a temporary user profile to get the computer up and running so that you can do repair tasks on it, and then migrate your information into a clean profile. Windows will try to do this for you. So if it was able to automatically resolve the problem with your profile, the next time you boot the computer, it shows all your information's back again. So sometimes we get stuff in the data recovery lab where people bring their computer in and ask for data recovery, and then we find out there's nothing wrong. It's temporary profile. So their stuff is there. It's just in a temporary profile. We send it back over to the shop for a standard repair. They do an hour of labor and they migrate everything over and they're good to go. That's probably what happened. Would I recommend using a password manager? Okay, I get this question a lot, Mark. The studio speaker in here is loud. I feel like I'm competing with it. Password managers are really, really great. I save all my passwords in Firefox, and then I have a Firefox account that goes across my devices. So I have Firefox on my phone and all my computers. If there's a saved password on one computer, it's on all the computers. Can you turn the studio speaker down for me? Thank you. So basically, if you need it saved, it's there. On the other hand, password managers, the utilities, are a ripe target for people to attack. In fact, I think it was 2 weeks ago we had a story about a really popular password manager got breached and leaked a bunch of passwords out. So it's one of those things where it's an impossible task. They tell you to make a password that's this redonkulous string of numbers, and letters and characters and no English words and everything else. And don't write it down anywhere. You have to memorize it, and you have to change it every 90 days. And yeah, come on. So I use Firefox to manage mine. It's not a big deal. The only time I get in trouble is when I have to sign into something that it's not on my Firefox account, and I don't sign into my Firefox account from public computers because, or even just computers in the service center, I don't. Just because, we hook drives up all the time to those computers that are infected. I'm not gonna take that risk. But great question. To answer in whole, I don't recommend password managers. I don't like them. But you can do the same thing with your Google account. You can sign in. If you're using Google Chrome, you can sign in to your Google account and save your passwords there. And then you can install Chrome on all your other computers and get your passwords remembered that way. All right. Make a thumb drive bootable with Windows 10 using the media builder as suggested gives me 2 dead thumb drives. Help. Ouch. Well, we use the media creation tool all the time, and it should not give you a dead flash drive. If you're getting dead flash drives, if they're killing the flash drives, that's something with the USB ports on the computer, Robert. Something's not right there. Now, on the other hand, I want to make sure you understand what you're trying to create. When you use the media creation tool, you're creating a bootable installation disk of Windows 10. So it's not a bootable version of Windows 10 that you're going to plug into a computer and turn on and boot into Windows 10 and install programs and compute and then turn it off like a virtual machine. You're creating a flash drive to install Windows 10 on a computer, basically. So if you'd like to, you can bring your flash drives into the service center, Robert. We can take a look at them on our computers there to see if they're bad. A sign that they're bad is if you have them plugged in and they just get stupid hot. If they get like hot to the touch where they're uncomfortable to hold, that's a good sign that they're bad. But to have two bad ones in a row like that, unless your USB ports are zapping them or something, if you bring them in, we can create you a media creation tool, Windows 10 installation disk real quick. Not a big deal. Wouldn't charge you for that. It's super easy to do. So just stop by anytime. We're happy to help you out with that. Planning continues for our new radio show launching in Des Moines next month. A month from today, actually, so we don't have a lot of time left. We got to get a new show intro cut. We got to cut some new spots to air during the program. We got to pull out the Omaha references and put in some more references for online support and the Schrock desk and things like that. I had to brief my staff because the show last week I started training myself to talk more about the Schrock desk and things. And people called the service center and said, "Hey, I want you to remote in and fix something real quick." And my staff was like, "Well, you got to bring it in." So I had to have a big meeting with everybody. Like, okay, guys. The world's changing. We can't always assume that everybody is local to us. And yes, it would be easier in some cases for us if the customer brought it in, but we're not about what's easy for us, right? We need to be what's easy for the customer. Now, what's affordable for the customer is a different matter because the Schrock desk gets billed by the clock hour. So if you're asking us to do a maintenance checkup over the Schrock desk and it's going to take an hour to do or 5 hours to do, you don't want to do that over the Schrock desk. You want to have that computer in the service center. So there's some times when bringing it in just makes sense. There are other times when you really probably should do it over the Schrock desk, guys. You can do that. Save the customer the trip in. But gas prices are high enough. Save them the trouble. So yeah, we're retraining the staff to make sure they understand that when a customer calls and requests the Schrock desk, they're calling to request the Schrock desk for a reason, not because it sounds like a cool thing like, "Hi, I want the Schrock desk." No, it's not like that. It's, "Hey, I need the Schrock desk because I can't come into your location because I don't live in Omaha or Lincoln or Papillion. I live in Florida and I want your help." All right, so we're working on that, guys. So for our distant listeners on Facebook, give us some time. We're adjusting. We're making that jump from a local or even a regional company into something that's a little bit bigger. That was one of the questions we had. Nebraska's #1 independent computer repair company with locations in Omaha, Lincoln, and Papillion. We got to change it. So what do you say? America's #1 computer repair company. Okay, there could be another computer repair. We don't have any empirical data that says we're #1 in America. We don't have like a national J.D. Powers and Associates survey or anything. So technically, if there was somebody out there who really was #1, they might get a little ticked off. When you are #1 and you say you're #1, people get ticked off, but they can't do anything about it. When you're not #1 and you say you're #1 and people get ticked off about it, you can get sued. So we got to make the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company. Maybe we could just say Nebraska and Iowa's #1, because right now it would just be Nebraska and Iowa, right? But WHO gets heard all the way out to Chicago. So Nebraska and Iowa and Illinois and Minnesota and South Dakota and Kansas is #1. It gets stupid after a while, doesn't it? So we're going to have to figure that out. So we're frantically working on writing that one up. So if you guys have any ideas, the spots that you hear, the pro tips, those are actual questions that people call into our shop with. So if you want to hear some pro tips about things that are, like, should I leave my computer on all the time? If you want some new pro tips, post them here. Let me know what you want to have a pro tip on, and we'll record. We got to record some new ones anyway, change them up a little bit. So while we're doing the recording, we'll get the new voice guy in and do some new pro tips too. All right, so last call for questions, guys. My voice is literally, I'm surprised it lasted through the show. Excuse me, I've had that cold that's going around. Last Saturday or last Sunday when I was doing the show, I was sitting here in the chair and sweating through my shirt. I was like, that's sick. Now it's just my voice. So Monday, I couldn't hardly talk last Monday. I was in the service center. I was like, how can I help you? It was bad, but I made it through the show. So I'm making it through the show now too, guys. So if you need anything, this is the last call for questions. As I mentioned, the service centers are doing really well right now, actually. They're all out of queue. And part of that's because a lot of people are out of town for the 4th of July weekend. See, that was one of the weird things. How do you say why you're slow without referencing a date-specific event? Because the people in Iowa are going to hear the show next week. So I can't talk about the 4th of July. Can't talk about Independence Day. Can't talk about why everyone's out of town this weekend. Because it's a long holiday weekend. People have the 4th off. So a lot of people took the 2nd and the 3rd as well and made it like a whole week off, basically. You take a Friday off, too. You're actually only taking 3 PTO days, and you get a week off. That's pretty amazing, right? Well, a lot of people are out of town. So if you have a computer that you've been meaning to bring in for that preventative maintenance checkup, now is a great time to do that. You can swing that into us, and we can get that done, taken care of for you really quickly. So I'm not seeing any new questions here. So if there's nothing else, we're going to take our leave this week. But we will be back again next Sunday for another edition of Compute This. For those of you who are watching in geographically remote locations, the show is live Sunday morning from 7 to 8. So if you're going to call in to 866-496-8772, you call in between 7 in the morning and 8 in the morning, and you get on the air. If you call in outside those hours, you go to the service center in Lincoln, and they help you. So you can give us a call anytime on that number. Anytime your heart desires when you need help, you just write that number down. That's the number you need to get a hold of Schrock Innovations. All right, guys, we'll see you again next Sunday. Thanks for joining us. Please do take a moment to vote for us in the Best of Omaha competition. It's omahamagazine.com/Best of Omaha. But take a moment, vote for Schrock Innovations for Best Computer Repair Company and or Best Website Design Company. We appreciate that one too. And then hopefully we win this year again, and we can come into the, what was it, last year we did the Lotto Schrock. So we needed something cool to do at our table, right? So I was like, what if we had like one of those big like safes? And there's like prize company that basically you could win $1 million, and they have a safe, and if you type in the code and unlock the safe, you win the $1 million. And it costs like $2,000 to have them put the safe at your event. They bring out a big safe, and there's numbers you can press, because if somebody happens to win, it's like an insurance policy. You pay $2,000, but if someone wins the $1 million, they pay the $1 million. But the odds of people winning are so low, they don't care. Well, I thought that'd be fun to do, but what if we just didn't give away $1 million, and what if we just built the safe ourselves and saved the $2,000 also? So what we did is we built I was like, what if we did something like a Schrock lottery, where you type in numbers, and if you unlock the thing, then you get a prize at the table. And we can make it 4 numbers, so there's actually a decent chance, not like 17 numbers, that you could actually unlock it and win a prize. So we did this, and Alfonso built it for us. And Alfonso's from Venezuela. And when Alfonso was done, he comes back, and apparently the noun verb is reversed in Spanish. So instead of Schrock lottery, it would be like lottery of Schrock, a lottery Schrock. And so, or noun verb, adjective noun, whatever. Anyway, so it came out being Lotto Schrock, like Lotto Schrock. There's a Lotto Schrock sitting here in front of the camera. And so it was kind of one of those funny things. But we did Lotto Schrock last time we were there. And so the time before that, we did a VR experience. So there's a lot of fun things we could do. We almost gave away VR glasses to everybody. Like, you put your smartphone in them, and you could play a VR game. It was pretty fun. So we'll come up with something, and there'll be some free stuff to give away. But before we can do any of that, we got to win. So I need you to vote for us. bestofomaha.com. I did it again. omahamagazine.com/bestofomaha. And in the meantime, we're going to get you a shorter URL, radio-friendly URL that you can use for that. All right, we'll see you again next Sunday, guys. Have a great day.